Activity 1. Simple linear regression. Good day, everyone. For Activity 1, we conducted a simple linear regression analysis to determine the relationship between one independent variable and one dependent variable. First, we created a Google Forms survey to gather the needed data from 20 respondents. The questions included in the survey were based on the selected variables for the study. After distributing the Google form, we collected all responses and organized the gathered data. Next, we transferred the responses from Google Forms into Microsoft Excel. We arranged the data into columns according to the independent variable and dependent variable. We carefully checked the responses to make sure that the data were complete and properly encoded. After organizing the data, we started solving for the simple linear regression. We identified the independent variable as the predictor variable and the dependent variable as the response variable. We then used Excel formulas and tools to compute the needed values. Where is the dependent variable, is the independent variable, is the intercept, and is the slope of the regression line. Using Excel, we solved for the slope and intercept, then interpreted the computed regression equation to determine the relationship between the variables. Lastly, we analyzed the results and summarized our findings based on the gathered data and computed regression analysis. Activity 2. Multiple linear regression. After completing the simple linear regression analysis, we proceeded to Activity 2, which focuses on multiple linear regression. In this activity, the objective is to determine the relationship between two independent variables and one dependent variable. Using the same process, we created a Google Forms survey and gathered responses from 20 respondents. After collecting the data, we transferred all responses into Microsoft Excel and arranged them according to the independent variables and dependent variable. We reviewed the encoded data carefully to ensure accuracy and completeness. After preparing the data, we used Excel formulas and the data analysis toolpack to solve for the multiple linear regression equation. The equation used in this activity is y equals a plus b underscore 1x underscore 1 plus b underscore 2x underscore 2, where represents the dependent variable, is the intercept, and are the regression coefficients, and are the independent variables. Using the computed results in Excel, we analyzed how each independent variable affects the dependent variable. We then interpreted the regression results and summarized the findings based on the computed data. Activity 3. Multiple linear regression. After completing Activity 2, we continued with another multiple linear regression analysis in Activity 3. The purpose of this activity is to analyze the effect of three independent variables on one dependent variable. We again created a Google Forms survey and gathered responses from 20 respondents. After collecting the responses, we organized and transferred the data into Microsoft Excel. The responses were arranged into columns according to the independent variables and dependent variable, and the data were checked carefully to avoid errors. After organizing the data, we used Excel formulas and the data analysis toolpack to compute the multiple linear regression equation. Is the dependent variable, is the intercept, and are the regression coefficients, and are the independent variables. Using the computed results from Excel, we analyzed the relationship between the variables and interpreted how the independent variables affect the dependent variable. Lastly, we summarized the findings and conclusions based on the gathered data and regression analysis.